First, we go to the introduction. Parrot is a worldwide community of developers and security specialists that work together to build a shared framework of tools to make their job easier, standardized, and more reliable and secure. Parrot OS, the flagship product of Parrot Security, is a GNU or Linux distribution based on Debian and designed with security and privacy in mind. It includes a full portable laboratory for all kinds of cybersecurity operation, from pen testing to digital forensic and reverse engineering. But it is also includes everything needed to develop your own software or keep your data secure. Okay, now we will see the setup for our Parrot OS. First, we will go to this setting, and for the general setting, our name is Parrot OS. Our OS name is Parrot OS, and the type is Linux, and the version is Debian 64-bit. For the system setting, our base memory, we set it to 4644 megabytes. And for the display, our video memory is 16 megabyte. And while for the network, our network is attached to host-only adapter, and its name is Virtualbox host-only Ethernet adapter. And for other setting, we set it to default. Okay, now I will run our OS VM. Okay, for the first step, if we want to get in the VirtualBox, we have to enter the password for the username. Our username is Qadri. Okay, now this is our Parrot OS. I will show you how to get the IP address for our VM. Okay, this is the terminal for the Parrot OS. If you want to know the IP address, we have to enter the command, which is ifconfig. Okay, we go up. And this is the IP address for this VM, which is 192.168.56.101. Okay, now we will see the IP address for the host. Go to command prompt and insert ipconfig. This is the IP address when using Wi-Fi. And for the IP address for the host is this one. So in this process, we will use this IP address.
Okay, now after we have obtained our IP address for our VM and our host, I will show you a command and I will explain to you after it finished. So first, I will start our Wireshark. This Wireshark is capturing from our virtual host only network. So the command is nmap -sa and our IP address for VM, which is our target. Okay, let's wait for a while. Okay, we have done our nmap scan. So as you can see here at the Wireshark, there is a lot of reset package. This scan is a TCP acknowledge scan. It's used to check if the system is protected by a firewall or not. If no RST response is given from the target system, Nmap assume that the target system is filtered. And if the target system return a RST response, as we can see here, a lot of reset package reset. It means that it is unfiltered. So the port that are being filtered is indication that the port is behind a firewall, and the unfiltered port, as you can see here, is the most likely allow through the firewall through a specific rule, or admin don't have a firewall. Okay, next we will show what if the system is behind a firewall. I will open our Parrot OS and I will run a same command before but using sudo because it need a root privilege. And for this, I will target my host, which is my laptop, and press enter. For sudo, it will need our password because it will need to access the root privilege. And don't forget to capture it on Wireshark. And let me enter the password. Okay, now the scan is done. As you can see here, it says that all 1000 scan port on our host is filtered. And if you can see here, the acknowledgement packet is being sent and no reset package is returned from our host. That means that our host is behind a firewall. Okay, next, after that command, I will use next command, which is the OS detection version scan to get some useful information about our target, which is our VM. Okay, and the scan is done. As you can see here, it says that one port is open. It is at port 22. And it also gives us the information about the running Linux version 5.x at our Parrot OS. So this means that we can use a scan at the port 22 because it's the only port that's open. Okay, next, after we have obtained useful information about our VM port that's open, which is port 22. So at this code, I will set to 22 because we want to target that port, the only open port. And then I will run this code and make sure to capture it on Wireshark. Then I will apply to tcp.port equal to 22. Then our IP address is our VM. First, I will enter flag number 1. Okay, as you can see, it's being captured by Wireshark. Then next, I choose flag number 2. And for final one, I will enter flag number 4. Okay, it's been captured by Wireshark and we will stop this from running. Okay, as you can see here, there is 3 packets that have been sent to our VM. The first one is we have packet with flag number 1, which is fin. As you can see here, it's set to number 1. Fin is a finished flag used to request a termination after no more data want to be transferred between the two hosts. Then flag number 2, which is sync. Sync is the start of the TCP three-way handshake. And finally, for the flag number 4 is the RST or reset. It's been sent when there is something happen and the host want to terminate the connection. Next, I will use CMD to send a packet with a different flag attached to it. So the first flag is flag number 1. and run the Wireshark. Execute the command. Okay, as you can see there, there's a packet being captured. Then we proceed to the next flag, which is flag 2. Okay, more packet being captured by Wireshark. And finally, we move to flag number 4. Okay, so our final flag is being captured by Wireshark and we stop the capture. Okay, so here we can see a different packet that have been captured by Wireshark. Our left is by using CMD and Nmap, and on this left, our screenshot is we using the Python code. So as you can see, we are only send 3 packet that contain flag number 1, number 2, and number 4. But as you can see here, at the Wireshark we capture at the CMD, you can see there is a lot of packet compared to the packet being captured by Wireshark using Python. So if you can see, the first one is fin, flag number 1. For Python, it's only send 1 packet, but for our CMD and Nmap, it send 2 packet. So same goes as our next flag, which is sync, where sync it will send the sync to the target, and then the target reply with the sync acknowledgement, and then there is a 4 TCP transmission for sync acknowledgement. This show that the data is not being fully transferred and it requests digit transmission. And for our final flag is flag number 4, which is reset. At the Python, it only send 1 packet, and at the CMD and Nmap, it send 2 packet.
So guys, for the next option, which is TCP simping, this is for the scanning option that we send empty TCP packet that attach SYN flag. So for the command, nmap -ps, and we must include the port that only open in our VM, which is 22, and the target IP address for our VM, 192.168.56101. And before we run the command, we must start the capturing first. Okay, now we see that only port 22 is open, and we're done with the scanning, and we must filter only TCP port 22. So as we can see in Wireshark, basically this scanning option send an empty TCP packet with SYN flag attached to it, and the SYN flag tell the VM that we are attempt to connect, and if the port is open, the VM will start the second step, which is the 3-way TCP handshake. So first, it will send the SYN, and then the VM reply with SYN ACK. But it's not the complete 3-way handshake. So now we will do the next option, which is TCP connect scan. So basically, it attempts to establish a plain connection to the target host. So first, we write the command, which is negative st, and the target host and the target IP address, which is 192.198.56 and 101. So after that, we click enter. Before that, don't forget to start capturing the Wireshark. So we're done with the scan, and as we can see now, only port 22 is open. So we stop the Wireshark. Okay, so after we stop capturing, we find the add flag and we follow the stream. Okay, So now as we can see, the three-way handshake happen. The first one, the send the SYN packet, and SYN add packet, and lastly it will reset to end the connection. So that is for the TCP connect scan. So for the last option, which is we want to scan for the TCP null scan. So first we type the command is negative and the target IP for our VM 192.168.5C and 101. Before that, don't forget capture the Wireshark first. Okay, and start the scanning. Okay, so now we done with the scan and it will scan for the port 22. Now stop the capturing and now type the filter TCP port for only 22. As we can see, this option basically will just send the packet without the TCP flag. So basically this method is used to get the firewall to respond to the scan. As we can see here, the flag is none. So there are no flag attached to this packet.